Hi, I'm Bart Hanson. I'm the owner and lead instructor for CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record every Mondays at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time. If you enjoy the channel, please hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel. Turn notifications on and you will get an email link with this full episode. And if you want to submit to this show, take a look at the information in the description.
So this is at the Oaks, 235.
Okay.
We're playing winner straddle. So whoever wins the previous hand straddles.
Okay.
So this hand, the cutoff is the straddle. I am the effective stack at 650.
At 650. So it's a straddle to 10, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So you guys are really short, sort of. I mean, you've got 650 effective, $10.
Really
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The button opens to 30.
So the button, who is basically the effective under the gun because of the cutoff straddle, opens to 30.
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
Yes. So I was in the big line.
Mm-hmm.
It got fold to me, and then I think I have two people left to my left.
Wait, is it a little bit of a short table
or
or something?
Yeah, it was six-handed.
Okay. So six-handed. Okay. Got it. Yep.
So I have Jack of Spades, Jack of Diamond.
Okay.
I elect to just call because the player in the shadow, I want to bring him in. He's a little weaker, I think.
Well, this is part of the reason why I chose one of these this week. Obviously, pre-flop. Whenever you're playing a very capped game or specifically a capped hand, like this one would be, right? Because it's $10 and you're playing 650. Pre-flop, positional configuration, and pre-flop are some of the most important variables, right, in the hand. Now, you're playing six-handed. You're going to be out of position to the rest of the table. This is kind of similar to, a UTG Open in your UTG 1. Normally you want to basically drive out the people behind you. You say you want to keep the straddle in, but it's not like you have aces here. I mean, this is jacks. I feel like I'd be almost always 3-betting here. Now, if you want to say, figure out, depending on who the button is, and you want to take a sizing where you actually might fold to a 4-bet all in, like if the guy made it 30 and you made it like, 120 to 150, and he shoved, and you're like, this guy's just never doing this with less than queens plus and like ace king suited, I can get on board with that. Still doesn't mean you shouldn't be 3-betting though. You know what I mean? I think you put yourself in a little bit of precarious position here.
Oh yeah. Well, I normally play 1-2, 1-3, but
yeah,
I would normally 3-bet here, like at a high clip. But the button was a prop player, so like you said, I could either go like 120, 130 and just fold if he 4-bets me. And I don't think, like, he knows me well, and I don't think he might just keep me in with aces there. So
So, all right, well, okay. I mean, like I said, you're going to be in a dicey spot. I think 3-betting here is almost mandatory. But okay, so you flat in the big blind.
That's flat. The cutoff flat.
Okay. The cutoff is the guy that you want to keep in, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you're 3 ways, and the pot's about $90, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So the flop came ace of diamond, ace of heart, jack of heart.
Okay, so ace of diamonds, ace of hearts, jack of hearts. So you flop bottom full here, and your hand is like really sort of, in terms of like it's very under repped. I mean, I guess would be one word, but it's hard for your hand is disguised. I would say more so than under repped. I'd feel like your hand would be more ace jack here than pocket jack. So you flop bottom full, okay? Yep.
So it went check. The button bet 25.
Okay.
And got back to me. I called, and the cutoff fold.
So I'm assuming that you're going to say that you want to sort of keep the cutoff in if he's a big spot. I mean, obviously you flopped a very, very strong hand. The only thing that I will say here is that, and you can take it or leave it. Like, obviously, it's going to be hard to screw this hand up. I mean, flatting is going to be fine some of the time. But here's the thing with slow playing some situations like this in extreme configurations. What hands, besides very strong hands, do you arrive with here across the turn. And what I mean by that is that like, what other hands do you have here that you call pre-flop and you call this flop bet with somebody next to act behind you? What are some other hands that you might have here?
Probably a weak A,
Okay.
like a suited Broadway, like a like a queen ten of diamonds kind of
So,
thing.
do you think that you are calling? I mean, it's possible you could flat with some of those suited broadways in the big blind. Do you think you're calling the bet because the bet size is so small? Are you calling a gut shot suited Broadway with a guy left to act behind you when this button, who's this prop player, c bets?
Yeah,
You
probably.
think so? King 10,
Yeah,
King Queen.
yeah.
Though the point that I'm making here is that, and like I said, it's not, it's kind of hard to screw this hand up, but I feel like your flat pre-flop and then your call next to act, even though the guy does use um, rather small sizing, is very strong. I don't think that you arrive with many weak hands here moving across the turn. So when people want to slow play, sometimes they don't recognize how strong they look by calling anyways. So like if I'm the button and I'm starting some sort of bluff here and you call next to act, I am almost never going to be double barreling here because I think that your range is going to be super heavy towards like strong hands that you're not folding, like ace X. I might play like a delayed double barrel where I check back turn and maybe bet river if you checked me again, but I just think that the act of calling pre-flop out of position and then the act of calling next to act here with somebody behind you is strong. So that's the thing about slow. Also, too, like nothing's going to really change necessarily on this board unless a heart were to come out here too. So that's the thing that I would say, as opposed to you having pocket nines and the board coming out like nine deuce deuce, where the guy can run into top pair later on, and obviously he can effectively value bet later on here too. Here, nothing. There isn't going to be a whole lot that's going to change. I mean, that's you can take it for what it is. Anyways, pot's 140. Go
No,
to the
yeah, yeah.
turn.
I mean, the more I think about it, the more I think I made a mistake. I should have just raised here and just trying to get it in if he had ace king or ace queen. So
Well, I mean, I don't think he's
the
ever
hand
full.
is completely.
I don't think he's ever folding an ace, and the thing is that he's always going to bet an ace on the turn anyways, too. So, what you're basically just gambling on is the fact that like a card doesn't come that kills your action, like a front door heart, which occasionally can come. Like I said, at this stack depth, it's kind of hard to screw up the hand. I just want to go over the theory of um, how slow playing
How
isn't
strong I look.
yeah, it's not the best when you're going to look strong anyways by calling. So, all right, you make the call. With that being said, though,
I make the
I
call.
mean, with that being said, you could have weak aces that you check call, and he might just think that But I mean
Yeah.
that you wouldn't raise those. So I mean that if you were to, yeah, I mean I mean you could be just calling with weak aces here too. But anyways, all right. So let's go to the turn.
Turn came with 10 of diamonds.
10 of diamonds. Okay. So that might actually concern me a little bit if I'm the pre-flop raiser with an ace. Now, especially if I have a weak ace that's not really playing here, that turn might concern me a little bit when I think about your calling range on the flop next to act. If it were some of those Broadway gut shots and things like that, like King Queen gets there now. I don't know if I'm going to get two streets here just from a jack and say my ace doesn't play. Okay, so turn to 10 of diamonds.
Yep.
Yep.
And check. Button bets 90,
Okay.
and we call.
So now that the button bets again in this spot, I think that I don't know if a prop here is going to be good enough to bet fold like ace king, ace queen, or any ace. I might just make it like 180 to 200. The problem here is that, and we often will get these calls, like if you're calling here, are you going to check the river on a blank, or are you calling with the intention of leading the river, which is kind of a bizarre play anyways?
Yeah, that's what the screw up is on the river. So I should have, if I check calling here, I should have just checked call the river.
Well, I mean, I know what the river, before we get to what the river is, but if the river's a blank, like if it's a deuce or a three, I just see a lot of guys checking back like an ace here. Like they might even check back like ace queen, which is a disaster for you, right? If they check back ace queen. So that's another thing about the perils against slow playing. When you're out of position, you're sort of giving up the betting lead, and then you allow your opponent to basically make the last action, unless you're going to do something out of the box like check call lead, which is a little bit strange and out of the box. Because if you check call here and then bet like 300 at the end, you almost have no bluffs anyway. So it's, it's kind of hard. But okay, so you call.
Yeah.
Yep.
River came king of hearts.
So the river now is a king of hearts. So it's ace of diamonds, ace of hearts, jack of hearts, 10 of diamonds, king of hearts. So the front door flush gets there now. And obviously you're losing to ace king, which, I mean, you're losing to ace 10, you're losing to ace king if he continues to bet.
Yes.
Yeah, or ace jack, the one combo of ace jack. The other issue, of course, is that if he's not full with just an ace, the flushes come in here as well. So This is kind of interesting here on how you would want to play this particular spot. What did you end up doing?
I made a big mistake. I made a big mistake by leading. I lead out for 240, and I don't think Jack's full here is good enough to lead his 2 in the middle. When he goes bet.
So you put in 90 on the turn, and you put in 25 on the flop, and then 30 preflop, so 50, 140, 380. So you're only leaving yourself with about 270 left, right? When you bet 240,
like around 265, 270, yes.
Yeah, I think that you can either block this river here, which I'm not a big fan of block betting, but you could get called. The reason where block betting comes into play is when you can get called by worse, right? So if he was barreling a flush, you're going to get called. And if he has an ace that's unfull, like ace queen, he might basically talk himself into a call for like $100 bet. You're very, very, if ever at this level, going to get raised as a bluff, right? So blocking here for 100 and possibly, if you know your opponent possibly folding to a raise, might actually be the play, even though it seems insane with a full house. The problem with check calling is that, well, it wouldn't necessarily be check call. It would almost be a check fold. The issue with check calling, the issue with check calling is that he's going to be checking behind a lot of hands that you could get block bet size value from. So it's definitely a precarious spot. No, I don't really like your bet size here because it sounds to me like you're going to commit yourself to the hand.
Yeah,
right.
And I think you're right. It's a check fold because anything he's betting on the river, it's a full house, and I don't beat any of them unless it's like.
Well, he could bet a flush, though, right? Could he bet a flush, though? You didn't 3-bet pre-flop. What if you had like a hand like 8-9 of hearts or something like that? You know?
I don't know this prop is. I don't think he bets a flush there.
I mean, it depends on his sizing, right? So you could check evaluate. Check evaluate might be the play, and hope maybe it goes check. Like I said, where the block sizing comes into play is if you think you can get called by worse. If you don't think you can get called by worse, then there's no point in blocking. You don't block. People will block bet because they don't want to face a large bet at the end. That's not a reason to block bet. Because if your opponent has bluffs, why would you want to prevent him from being bluffed? You block bet because you can get called by hands that will check behind that are worse. What ended up happening? So you lead for 240.
I lead for 240. He hangs for about 20 seconds, asked me how much I had behind, and then he jammed.
I mean, you're gonna be beat here like a ton. I mean, listen, the pot's gonna the pot's gonna be 570. Let's say 570. It's gonna be 810 plus another. What you said you have 270. So it's like 1,080 to 270 for you to call. I mean. Mm-hmm. Making hero folds like that in live poker, I don't know. I mean, getting that price, it's going to be very hard for me to fold. Anytime you have a full house at this hand strength and you're getting 5-1, it's never going to be too much of a mistake to call. I think it's more important to figure out where maybe you went wrong earlier in the hand to get yourself in this spot. I'm assuming that you called given the price. Is that right?
No, I snap mucked.
You folded? Wow. You snap folded?
I knew.
Well, you must really know the player then, right?
Well, and it's a 2-5 game. And
yeah.
Actually, I was leading the river, planning to fold if he jams on me.
Well, I mean, like I said, yeah, that's You can do that with block sizing though too. The issue with betting 240 here is I don't know if any hands are going to call you. If you're going to get the call, you might get calls from flushes, but you're not going to get the calls from ace X here, ace queen as a straight. You know what I mean? Things like that. But did you ever find out what he had? Did you ever find out what he had?
Well, he says he only loses one hand, so I assume he has aces, or he only loses to a straight flush.
He only loses to one hand. I don't know if maybe he didn't see the straight flush because I doubt that he bets 4 aces that way. Because he would lose to queen 10 of hearts, right? He probably had ace king then.
Yeah, I don't think my hand is ever good there, so I just folded it.
I mean, that's a very, very exploitable bet fold, that's for sure. But like I said, I wanted to talk through with you the previous streets. I appreciate it. Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out crushlivepoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA200. Click on the link right there.